Let's see. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Airy Sky Read-A-Lee's video blog. I'm Airy Sky. Welcome. Looks like I'm not. Anyways, so today we're going to be talking about something big. Now, my adopted brother, also the Higgins, emailed me and said I need to get off my butt. Excuse me for a second. I do not like how that beeps up every time an email comes in. Starts pissing me off. It's like we don't need to hear it, you know. I should disable that. But anyways, okay, so let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? Today we're going to be talking about prepping. That's right. We're going to be talking about prepping, and that means we will be talking about prepping because, hey, Chris, how goes it? So I got my food cooling, so let's talk about food prepping today. Now, brother Higgins and my adopted brother Ted, and then there's the adopted brother Chris there. He came in. Good to see you, Chris. I'm in my other room here, the living room today. So let's get down to brass tacks about talking about prepping. Now, people have messaged me time and time again. I got two updates for you. I want to get the updates out of the way, and then we're going to go straight into food prepping, okay? Now, my therapist yesterday sent me this. Now, you're probably wondering, what's this? It's a stuffed Netherland dwarf. Why is it a stuffed Netherland dwarf? Because my rabbit passed away a month ago today. Poor little Ebony passed away and ran across the Rainbow Bridge. So this is my new little Ebony. Just saying. It hurt me, and that is your update. God has been blessing me like 5 times after I made this. So, anyways, let's get down to the thingy. I've been blessed many times over. So, good to see you still around, Chris. Prepping is where we're going to be today because the video I saw, people are talking about 42 million people being on the public dole and food stamps. Now, there's people out there in the world that sit there and say, well, how much food stamps are you on? Well, I'm on a measly $24 a month. So do you think I care? No. My freezer, which you know where it is, it's right over there, is completely and thoroughly full. And my small freezer and this freezer. Yeah, but anyways, you get the point. Full. I went to Walmart the other day and loaded up. Okay, I run a minivan once a month. Chloe or a friend of ours, we drive off island. We get ferry tickets and we go and we buy groceries. Right? Freezer is full. Can't fit anything more, and I'm making room right now. I'm eating dinner in about 30 minutes. I'm doing a 30-minute video live because you guys needed to know that the poor little bun passed away. Poor little bun. Died in my arms, by the way. Now, 42 million people are going to be off of food stamps tomorrow. Is this a plan? Possibly. Is it not a plan? Possibly. Do you think it's a plan? Possibly. Do you think, did you vote for the right guy? Well, we're not going to talk about politics in this channel because I get enough politics with Chloe. Now, let's get down to brass tacks here. Prepping for food and supplies. I got plenty of beans. I got plenty of rice. I just went online today. And what was I doing? I was on the toilet browsing food. And you guys could sit there and say, well, what were you browsing? Well, I was browsing groceries. And I was browsing stuff from Amazon. You see, I've been buying a lot of Alfredo sauce to make Alfredos. Pork chops. We have plenty of pork chops. That went down the way. Tonight's enchiladas. I got plenty of chimichangas, plenty of frozen burritos, plenty of beans, plenty of rice, plenty of dry foods, plenty of camping foods, plenty of everything. As everyone knows, moderator Zoe knows I am the biggest prepper in the world. Now, Chloe and I made a list. Right here, supplies. Shampoo, conditioner, purchase. We both bought shampoo and conditioner today, both of us. Paper towels and toilet paper, gotta order that still. Yeah, right now, you gotta be frugal. I did spend $65 last month on my Costco membership. I've been bringing in toilet paper, paper towels, and my Kirkin Supremo coffee that Zoe truly loves. Next on the list, light bulbs. I picked up 36 packs of light bulbs and a 24 pack, all 18-year life bulbs. Why? So we don't have to buy light bulbs for the next 30 years. You see, the long-term investment for a short-term gain. Light bulbs go out, you just replace them, put them away, and you replace them. They're all LED. Now, I know my adopted brother Ted would be like, dude, you're getting light bulbs. Hey, light bulbs are a must, okay? This is one of those one-time purchases for years, okay? Next up is razor blades. I picked up a razor blade and a razor blade handle. I got like 2 handles and some blades coming. Shaving gel, done. I picked up 2 6-packs. That should last me about a year. Why? Because, well, as an old lady, you got to be frugal. We don't know what's going to happen from one time to the month. Now, a lot of people say, you know, well, that's supplies. Exactly. That is your household supplies. You make a household composition, you turn around, and you basically turn around, and you literally buy what only you need. So, Chris, how have you been, brother? It's been a while. You never got back to me. You should email me sometime. I'll give you a ring when I'm not so busy with gaming. Yeah. So, some of you out there, you guys have been messaging me, you know, asking me, you know, San Juan Island Prepper and Yahoo and San Juan Island Prepper AOL, basically what's going on with food stamps. Again, I just saw a video today, which I wasn't really in the mood to send my adopted brother the email. He said you should basically watch 5 minutes and then do a video on it. Well, you know me, I'm just like, no. Well, turns out the answer is yes. Why is the answer yes? Because, well, we need to talk about the world and what's going on price-wise. Yeah, so, it goes like this. People are suffering. People are literally suffering. People are sitting there suffering. You got 42 million people worried about their food stamps. Mostly elderly, disabled, and women with children or men with children. You know, they got to struggle, right? Food stamps is frozen. I know a guy, 2 doors down, rumor has it, he's complaining, oh, my food stamp, I'm going hungry. Well, here's a trick you got to learn to basically better yourself as a human being. You got to cut out your vices. One, Chris already knows my vice. Video games! Can't cut those out! Amen, brother. But, no, truthfully, we cut out a lot. My electric bill this month was literally way less than I expected because the office computer is not on all the time. This one was on for the last 2 days because I've been running orders, basically. But with the last of the orders placed, I can basically go back into my hole and hole up. Now, Christmas is nearly complete this year, yet again, right? So, here's the plan for all of you. We have to be frugal because we're not out of the woods yet. As of January 2026, that's 3 years or 36 months left that we have for the current administration because of the problems coming down the pipe. Now, let me see what Chris has to say. It's good to hear if Chris is still around. Birthday is the 7th. I got more groceries for my birthday. I've been telling my sister food is like bullion when there is chaos, but it fills you, therefore it's currency. Exactly. That's where me and Chloe's been doing the same thing, Chris. We've been actually stockpiling. Chloe's been homeless, as you know. By the way, we're not going to go into some details of what we've been working on. Not right now. Now, if Chris wants to know privately, I will tell Chris via the phone. But I'm not going to tell you guys on YouTube because they say the old theory goes: loose lips sink ships. So let's get down to the next task. So, food banks are struggling. Literally, I got a letter in the food bank today, right? Yesterday, a little note. Thank you for your order online. I have my food bank delivered in, okay? I don't leave my house because, well, yeah, as everyone knows, hermaphroditism, transgendered, intersexed people, LGBTQIA are being targeted. And you know, in my channel, I don't talk about that at all. I just basically say we're being targeted, okay? So I hang my hat and I stay in. And I've set up many things. And before you ask, for some of you out there, let me just say for the record, the little guy is still with me. Look at him. Hi, Mop. How you doing? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moppy's channel. Today we're going to talk about how to prep for your dogs. First step, food. Second step, bottled water. Third step, gravy bones. Got to have a lot of gravy bones. Gravy bones makes the doggy happy. Woo! Hey, Mom, my gravy bone bowl's empty. You got 2 gravy bones and 4 of those Halloween cookies. Again, I want to say for the record, happy Halloween to every one of you. Let's get this channel to 1,000, alright? So, basically, have you prepped? See, I've been putting away food for months. Literally, Zoe knows when Zoe was around, we were stockpiling everything we can because it is a form of food. We've also been preparing for stockpiling and restockpiling, making sure our preps. I do a check on Monday. Every Monday, I go through the food check, and I alternate, and I clean the pantry and the bottom. And let me tell you, I can't eat down the bank foods fast enough. Fried eggs and fried potatoes and onions with a side of eggs from time to time. I like hard-boiled eggs, but those take a little time, and you can't eat them down fast enough. Otherwise, you'll have cholesterol problems. A lot of people out there don't realize until they have an overflow of food. And so, for some of you out there, like I said, you guys got to keep prepping. I mean, literally, this is what we've been prepping for. People say, "Oh, you're a fake prepper. You don't know anything." Really? How about the 42 million people, Mr. I attack fake preppers like you, whoever you are on YouTube? Not Chris. Chris knows I'm not a fake prepper. But there's people out there that message me, I'm a fake prepper. Well, guess what? Fake prepper this. Because frankly, I'll tell you, if it wasn't for my stockpiling, I would be going hungry. Instead, if it wasn't for Chris there, like Chris just said, food is like currency, like bullion. I like that philosophy. Yeah, think about it. What's more important, gold, silver? My adopted brother Ted would be like, "Oh, gold and silver's the best!" Yeah, if you worship the money thing. By the way, when I play the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim game, the only divine I worship and I always get saved is Zenithar. And I always change the wording from Arcade when you go into the what do you call it? The Dawnguard DLC to Fort Dawnguard. When you see the guy in there and he says about Arcade, I change it to Zenithar's been protecting me for years, but he's not so sure about you. Well, think about it. Zenithar is the one that's working commerce. What am I doing? I'm giving you guys great advice. I mean, literally. How many people out there sit there and they literally look around and they literally turn around and they say, "Oh, I can't afford it." You can't afford it? Chloe and I just went and ordered everything we needed for the next few months. It's going to get bad. I mean, literally. I tell you guys all the time when we're prepping, have you prepped lately? Oh, well, the government's great. You know, really. How's work coming along? How's the job market coming along? I mean, literally. How is it? I mean, literally, think about it. How is it? How's jobs? I mean, I can't ask Chris because last time I remember, Chris is disabled, but Chris is a sweetheart. Yeah, Chris and his mom's a sweetheart. Money is tight for everyone. I bet you even Chris there, my moderator, Sigma there is literally being a frugal person right now. I am. I mean, literally, we are literally keeping our freezer full at all times. I mean, literally. And I'm sitting there making Alfredo. I mean, today, for example, I went online to get some Alfredo sauce. They raised it from $2 a jar to $6 a jar. You tell me, are you prepared for the $6 a jar price of food? I mean, literally, it'd be like me telling you to go out and buy 10 cases of butter beans and finding out the 10 cases was raised in price because the 10 cases is pretty expensive. What did Chris say? For Morgue Satana's mother's name was Atom. He means the wisdom of death. I thought that was interesting video he put up. For Morgue Satan's mother. Yes, that is interesting. And the angel of death in Hindu lore, I believe, is Kali. So, yeah, I've read a bit of Gita stuff. And then if you read the Quran, yes, before people say, oh, the Quran, the Muslim Bible, the angel of death is Azrael. Azrael. Yes. And by the way, I've read this so many times. This is an English version. It also has the contents on the side here of how to be a better person. Not that I'm going to be talking about that, but point is, everyone, is that I told you I'm getting ready to start a Substack for you all because I think it's time that we basically get down to the nitty gritty of a prepping, because we need to talk about prepping. And literally, have you been prepping? Chris, brother, have you been prepping? I know brother Ted, my adopted brother, is always out there. How many burritos do you have? More than you, dude. My freezer's probably 1/4 full of chimichanga burritos. Why? Because they were on sale. I got chicken chimichangas, pork chimichangas, beef chimichangas, steak chimichangas. Monterey Jack and something chimichangas. Yes, so now I want to tell you a story about my orders on Amazon, okay? Because one of the things is adopted brother Ted, he's always complaining, I need a gift card. Well, I gotta send him one. Maybe $20 gift card would be fine. So here's the kicker, okay? So when it comes to ordering right now, you do the frugal part. For example, I still got toilet paper and paper towel. I've already priced it out, so I know exactly what I'm getting. I got to get coffee. So, for example, I ordered 2 flash drives. Now, you're probably thinking, well, what do I need the flash drive for? Well, the flash drives is to transfer data from my desktop to a laptop. So, my new printer. I got a return printer going out Wednesday of next week. I got 30 days. I got the label stacked on it. The printer was broken when it came in. I got a new printer coming. Actually set up. My candy, the packages of candy I bought, it exploded. So they're just like, you're getting a refund. But anyways, you guys could probably sit there and say, well, why did I order candy? Well, let's just say I ordered candy, okay? Now, the flash drives, like I said, my neighbor, I just got to say, my neighbor gave me some money. It covered the expenses. I didn't make a profit. Not that I would. But she needed to get her Christmas gifts for her grandkids before crap hits the fan. She's literally worried about what's going to happen in the future. So her presents was ordered, and she ordered a TV. The second thing we ordered was soups. I got more soups coming in because I've been cooking a lot of meals with soups. As I said to you guys earlier, soups are really good, and Chloe ordered soups too. And we're not talking any soups. We ordered the Amazon Happy Belly stuff. They're 70 cents a can, by the way, to let you guys know. The Happy Belly is a prepper. 70 cents a can for chicken noodle. We got 10 cans of that. Cream of mushroom. Couldn't get any more for the month. Cream of chicken. Can't get any more for the month. The Happy Belly is so cheap that they're literally giving you a number. Now, I heard rumors that Amazon's going to start doing that with Campbell's soup too. And I've heard Walmart's going to do the limit number 2 because there is going to be food shortages coming up and supply shortages. Let's say I have at least 100 pounds of goods. If I want to eat, I'll go get it, buy with my credit. Oh yeah, I still have at least 100 pounds. Yeah, well, I have more than 100 pounds. I got whole lamb, other foods, Chris. I mean, I'm literally stocked. I'm in my freezer. I'm rotating it out as I go and eating down the frozen food stuff first. But point is I'm not going hungry either. Chloe's been very frugal. Nights they serve cheese, she walks over to the hot dog shop at 7-Eleven or Costco and gets hot dog or 2. Very frugal herself. We just learned that a lot of foods like potato chips and snack chips and crackers, They're delaying 7 to 10 days. Everyone's buying that crap up. It's like, right now, do you want snacks and chips and crackers, or do you want actual food? I mean, look, you can go in and live on 2 cans of green beans a day and you'd be fine. You can even eat cold green beans and you'd be fine. So my order is literally all ordered. Light bulbs, like I said, prepping time, light bulbs. You always buy at least 2 to 3 24 packs of bar soap. That will last you a year. Excuse me for a second. That will last you a year. Another thing I highly recommend during the time of troubles is scented candles. They come in handy for 2 reasons. Clearing out the bathroom when you make it stinky. And 2 is for other various reasons. For example, other issues. Yeah. So, anyways, I just can't remember what it was I was going to say. But you guys get the point. If you're not prepping and you guys sit there and say, oh, well, you know, it's, let's see, me, God gives me discounts sometimes, I can email you the proof. Look, I am already believing in God, okay? I'm an ordained minister, Chris. So if God's blessing you, let me just say, as an ordained minister who's been ordained since 2009, count your blessings, brother, but don't brag about it, because the good man upstairs, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, Elohim, God, the Almighty, He may just take away your blessings if you keep bragging about it. I mean, like I keep telling people, Chris, God's not a vending machine. God makes you want to have to help yourself. And that is why you got to help yourself. I'm not talking about Chris, people. I'm giving you guys an example. Chris, he's already helped himself. I've helped myself, and Boppy's helped himself. Yes, I get it, buddy. You got water. So the dog's whimpering as usual. But you get the thing. You don't need to toot your horn, Chris, about God's blessed you. The thing is, God doesn't bless everyone at every time. If you get 5 blessings a week, be happy. If you get 5 blessings a day, be happy. Hold on a sec. I got to turn that off. All right. There we go. So, the next plan, there we go, is I will grab my food shortly, because like I said this is about 30 minutes. Sorry about this. Let me check the office. Sometimes the little man likes to leave little nuggets in there from time to time. So, anyway, the point is you guys gotta prep. Alright, good boy. Yeah, good boy. So, bottom line is, people, you got to prep. Let's see. Gives me joy, honestly. God's glory gives me... Yes, well, so does Jesus. But then again, most people believe in this day and age, Chris, there is no God. Because if God was real, they would have basically contained Donald Trump. That's what I hear from the or the people that pray, evil against our president. Those people need to realize that they're not going to get their wish of the almighty Big Mac sauce is going to give them a heart attack or a stroke. It may give them diarrhea, but we won't go there, you see. All these people, yeah, but we're here to talk about not God, Chris. We're talking about prepping. Now, God wants you guys to prep, people, because God has given you a sign. Plain and simple. That sign was, plain and simple, you better basically prep. Think about it. The elections are coming up. California gets to redistrict their maps and gerrymander and all this other crap. You're going to see possibly a civil war. I've been telling you, civil war may happen. Are you prepped for that civil war, people? Because right now you're not even prepped. And I told you this. Always stay prepped. But you weren't. You didn't listen. You guys sat there and you basically turned around and you had 2 different camps. Like I said in the last video. 2 camps. You got the Democrat camp and the Republican camp. And define source. Define what? About God? Well, think about it. God's basically giving us warnings right now, Chris. You can read your Quran, you can read your Gita, you can read your Mahabharata, you can read your Bible. Point is, the main thing is these people, Chris, aren't prepping. I mean, you may be prepped, I may be prepped, but half the country ain't prepped. They're living paycheck to paycheck and struggling. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump becomes president, right? And all of a sudden, government gets shut down. Yeah, Democrats want to turn around and say, oh, wow, look at that. We're not opening till you give health care. Well, let me just tell you for the record. Democrats are fighting a losing battle. That's right, a losing battle. Your Medicaid? Yeah. Medicare is safe. Yeah. Medicaid? They want you to have work credits. They want you to work and get your thing. But they also want you to work if, for some reason, for food stamps. Think about it. They turned around, they put in the big beautiful bill, or some call it the big ugly bill. I'm just going to say bill. Cut out food stamps, right? Food stamps right now has not been re-upped for another year because of the government. Then you have a judge saying, you can't do this. Really? If the judge turns around and says you can't do this, then why is it that all this money that Congress has allocated for U.S. aid and all this other crap's been impounded? Yeah, think about it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and talk politics and say what is right and what is wrong. That's not my job. My job is to tell you, you've been prepping. Even my own family's in panic mode and they're not talking much. Why? Because they're worried. Think about it. Think about this. Food banks, they're getting shorter and shorter. They rely on the government's help. I just read an article today, which I wanted to bring up with you as well as prepping. You see, when you're in a time of turmoil, you need to, what did he say? Yeah, snap, looking like snap our necks at the grocery. Yes, and I also keep some weapons myself, which I'm keeping to myself, Chris. The thing is, it's not about carrying swords, crossbows, or whatnot. The main thing is, or even muskets, okay? I saw a guy was testing out a musket recently on a game called Fallout 76. It was pretty funny. Anyways, back to the tasks at hand, okay? SNAP benefits, 42 million people. Chris, by the way, I just want to say, you are funny, okay? But hopefully, if there's a civil war, you're not running around with a katana because there's people out there packing heat, and you do not want to be a man with a samurai in a gunfight, okay? I'm just saying, jokingly, of course, brother. But honestly, I don't hope, honestly, I'm hoping we don't go to civil war, okay? Or, as the prepper says, again, to me, of course, is, are you prepped? Think about it. I've been telling you, prepping for disasters. What are we having right now? We're in a crisis. 42 million people will lose their food stamps tomorrow. And let me just put it this way. For the record, okay, I'm not for or against Democrats or Republicans. I think they're both useless. But, for the sake of this argument, I want to say that that everyone else here needs to realize that a lot of people out there saying, apparently, I'm not going to go deep down the rabbit hole, that we have a president that's apparently, I've heard it from all the left-wing radical crapheads, that they are worshiping a guy who's a pedophile, right? And that the Republicans are protecting him no matter what because they want to keep the Epstein file from being released. So they're going to keep the government shut down. I told my father-in-law the other day, okay, this is a hunch, this is a gut feeling, okay? Call me an idiot, call me wrong, call me whatever. But my gut feeling, and I'm going to say it as a gut feeling, is we're not going to see the government reopen till next year maybe, if then. Because, A, they're literally shutting down the government and axing department by department. I mean, literally. Do you know, and no one knows this, okay, and I'm going to talk about this for a minute because I know a lot about subsidized housing, okay. Food stamps, let's just say the USDA manages the Supplication Nutrition Assistance Program or whatever it is, the SNAP program. Okay? We used to nickname it food stamps. All right, so the food stamps get cut tomorrow, right? People are going and buying groceries with what they have, and then they're hoarding and holding back. People sit there and they buy and they buy and they buy, and they think they need things, and they think they need things, and they say, oh, I need a crossbow, oh, I need a dai katana, oh, I need a wakizashi, oh, I need a katana, oh, I need a samurai sword. Then when the time comes, they have all this stuff, and they may have some food, but then someone comes along and says, oh, this person's got food, and then they get into a fight, who ends up toast? The one that's got the crossbow, because, well, the other person's got a firearm. Think about it. So you got to ask yourself, have you been prepping? I got my pantries nearly filled, my freezers full, my stack, my storage areas full, my beans, my rice full, my buckets of beans and rice full. Everything I've been doing, I've been prepping quietly, because I keep telling you guys that this could come down the pipe. I didn't expect it to be this fast, but think about it. Then I hear from other people that this so-called Project 2025 wants to eliminate food stamps. And to do that, this is how they're getting away with it. All right, well, let's just say I'm not going to go there yet. There is no proof yet, okay? Now, a lot of people are like, well, so what happens if the next thing they go after is Grandma and Grandpa's Medicare, right? They get rid of Medicaid, they get rid of food stamps, get rid of Medicare, and then they decide, we're going to get rid of your cell phones. I mean, the government, say this is a government-issued phone, which it isn't. Are you willing to basically sit there? And by the way, without the government-issued food stamps, the government doesn't pay your phone bill. I heard about this today, too. So think about it. Your food stamps go away. 42 million people lose their cell phone bill. Yeah. Do you want me to continue? Are you prepped? This is why I have two backup cell phones. Cheap. Dirt cheap. Now, how about this for a thing? Has anyone heard of Lie Heap? Yeah, you probably haven't. Hey, Chris, what are you saying, man? Then the T-virus eventually. There's not coming back till Monday to vote, I heard. Yes, but they're going to basically push it off again, Chris. That's the thing. So we shouldn't worry about it, okay? And by the way, it's not Monday about the food stamps. Monday, they have to have everything written in records to send it to the appellate court, which the appellate court will turn around and literally turn around and decide whether they're going to force the government, which is not legal right now, because there is no one to basically pay the bills. So, no cell phone, no Medicaid. Medicare is mandatory. Social Security is mandatory. Those are two mandatory programs. They can gut everything else. By the way, since I'm going to be on this video for a while, I might as well get my food and eat it before it gets cold. Tonight's meal, enchiladas. Well, yeah. So apparently these enchiladas are hard to cut. Apparently, figures. All right. Need to sample something I've never tried before. This brand of enchilada. There we go. All right. There we go. Let's see how this tastes. Yeah. Alright, so bottom line is, my friends, here we go. I get to eat and talk to you at the same time because, well, I have my dinner here. There's a family size. I don't know how this tastes, but we'll try. No, it's mine. They're look, Chris, they will be coming back when they feel they can, but right now they're not. I also heard people, ooh, this is not bad for a cheese enchilada. I prefer cheese over chicken. See, Stouffer's always fills it with rice. This is not bad for an enchilada. Alright, tastes better than that one I bought the other day. They claimed there's 2 enchiladas. There was not even 1 enchilada when I bought that thing. By the way, as a prepper, want to tell you something. It's better if you let the mom and pop shops go out of business for restaurants and buy your frozen food if you're interested in enchiladas or quesadillas or whatnot, because it's cheaper. Then you're not paying $24. For $24, you could probably get 2 family-sized things of enchiladas. You got to now think about, is it worth eating out or eating in? Now, there's people out there that think food stamps will be retroactive. Unless it's in the bill, food stamps may not be retroactive. That's another thing. People think everything's retroactive. They can make bills to change bills that can do things, but right now, you gotta ask yourself, this is corn, by the way. So basically, the bottom line is, my friends, that's mine. Are you prepped? Because I've told you time and time again, when you have food bank, you divide your food bank up. Refrigerated stuff you eat. Dry stuff you put away. Food bank. Now with me, of course, I've been restocking on canned soups, ramen. I mean, right now, they got ramen on sale. And that's another thing that I think that people should be prepped with. They shouldn't want to not be prepped. A lot of people, they always put something else ahead. Now, let me just tell you a few things I want to tell you about in the world of prepping. There's people out there that think they can make a living on YouTube making money reviewing video games. Yeah. Let me just say, they could, but is it worth it? Right now, it's not worth it, because as a prepper, you got to ask yourself, are you prepped? Yeah. If you're not prepped, then what happens? You go hungry. You don't have enough supplies. This is really good. They got 2 more. There we go. Not bad. Here we go. Not bad at all. I'll clean the stove top up. Okay. The bottom line is me and Chloe's been doing a lot of prepping. She has a little extra funds. She's been putting it into prepping, and she's been surviving herself a lot better, being frugal, and I'm proud of her. I mean, we're literally got a lot of stuff stockpiled away because of... No, it's my dinner. No, you don't get any. You got kibble. See? He's now arguing, thinking he's entitled to enchilada. So, anyways, this is not bad. But, you gotta be prepped. That's the main thing. Oh, I forgot my paper towel. Great. Don't even think of getting on the bed. Alright, paper towels right there. See, I gotta order some more of these as a prepper. Alright, so the bottom line is, people, you have to be frugal now. We're not gonna be going back to the way it was. And technology, it may advance. The question is, it's gonna advance for the rich people. Everyone else is gonna suffer. If you make it in the next 20 years, be blessed. Because it's not going to get better. I bet you it's going to get worse. And that's a gut feeling. Due to the fact that a lot of people, and I have a theory about this, and this theory is that I think comes to the government, they got special elections coming up, governor's elections, on Tuesday. They may delay the entire food stamp and voting, like Chris said. Monday they're going to come back. I give it not even Monday. I think they'll come back, make some crack answers, leave again, and then all of a sudden, magically, they'll find out whether Republicans win or not. If Repubs win, they may just open up the government again. But if the Dems win, all hell's going to break loose. I think that's what they're waiting for, and I have a feeling about that. But then again, as I told my father-in-law 3 days ago, before we went on vacation after 15 years, are you prepped? Are you ready to roll? Because when I told him my hunch, now, I don't know about Chris. Chris is awesome. He's always been awesome. Awesome moderator. Awesome friend. Awesome brother. But I had a feeling governments could stay shut down for a while. They don't want it open. For some reason, they don't want it open. But not opening it means you're going to see a lot more people trying to work at McDonald's than the people who are working fast food. The jobs aren't there. Sorry, Bob. The jobs aren't there. Plain and simple, man. Think about it. The jobs aren't there. I mean, literally. Have you looked at the numbers of the purchase numbers? I mean, literally. The more food you look at, you buy in the past, the more it goes up. Have you ever took the time? No. Have you ever took the time to go through your Walmart or Amazon inventories and print out your invoices that you buy? And all of a sudden you go ahead and you do that, right? I've been doing that lately. Again, brother Ted, he always makes jokes, saying I'm wasting a hole or 2 whole or 3 whole trees. That may basically benefit you, or do a spreadsheet. You put in January through December 2026, for example. And you put in what you want to buy, right? And as you put in what you're going to buy, you put it in for an entire year. Let's just say Brother Ted, he loves bananas, right? So his bananas are, say, $3 a bunch, and all of a sudden one day it's $18 a bunch, right? For December. He could sit there and track, basically, for example, the bananas. You know, I've been tracking food for a while. I mean, literally, think about it. I just bought a jar of Alfredo sauce, $2. Out the door, since on Amazon, bought like 6. Went back to buy some more because it's good. $6 a jar. They're luring you in with the sample price, and then all of a sudden they say, "Oh, you want more?" Where it's more. If you just sit there and say, "I don't want more," you know, you can make it last. There we go. Clean the stove top up. We're good to go. Now I want to tell you a story that may or may not open your heart up, okay? Amazon did the Prime deals recently. In July, because they know they're hurting. Walmart did Walmart days. They know they're hurting. Now, right when the holidays starting soon, food banks are going to be short on turkeys and hams. Think about it. What are you going to do if you don't have a turkey and a ham? with my luck, I'll manage. But I'm saying, for someone like others, they may be struggling. I mean, one year my mother was so poor, we didn't have money for turkey. We had a whole roasted capon, aka whole chicken. That's what they had, because, well, that's what we could afford. Let's see, Chris says, that's why you stock up. That's what I've been doing, Chris. That's what we're talking about. Now, a lot of people out there know that a lot of big companies out there are hurting. For example, neighbor the other day found out Best Buy was having a deal on TVs. Now my brother, Ted, would be like, but Rita, no buts, Ted. You see, point is, TVs, right? Neighbor wanted a 32-inch TV. It was only $81 at the door. It could last her the remaining of her life. She's on her deathbed anyways, but yeah, think about it. So, 81 bucks. Let the old lady have a little entertainment. Rest of us, 81 bucks can go for food. Do you really need an extra TV? And that's another thing. A lot of people see these deals, and they can't help it. And then when they have too many of one thing, they say, I can't use it, and I can't use them all at once. Think about it. I mean, think about it. The country has been founded mostly by making stuff, and then when things happened, we started doing socialism. Now, a lot of people say we're not a socialist country, but think about it. The report stated today, the one that Brother Ted sent me, guy said, no, when you have housing, okay, and I'll get to the subsidized housing in a minute. When you have something like subsidized food, right? Your tax dollars, Chris pays it, sales tax and property tax and whatever tax, FICA tax, work tax, whatever, income tax. It all goes to the government usually, and they dole out a portion to Chris or me if we're working, and they give it for food. And so say you qualify for food stamps, you work minimal job and you don't get much money. So all of a sudden, you qualify for food stamps. You go to the store, say, oh, this store takes EBT. They're giving you assistance, subsidizing your food because it's a socialist program. And when the stores see no one coming in on food stamps, stores will go out of business. Now you can ask why. Well, there's two reasons for it, and I'll get to it. Moderator Pee-wee, if she was around, she'd understand my motives here. Chris probably does too. Chris is one smart cookie. It's called communism. You see, if government starts to see all these businesses fail, the government can pick them up for dirt cheap, turn around, and make them government stores or government farms or government this. Think about it. Farmers are needing a subsidy, and then they get their farms maintained, and then in return, the stores get a subsidy so you can go buy the farmer's goods. But what happens if there's no food stamps? Stores don't get money, the farmers don't get money, the socialist economics go down the toilet. Now, you're probably thinking, well, how does that affect medications and insurance? Well, think about it. Back in the day, in the 40s and the 30s, and having a baby only cost a couple $100 at the door. With the new subsidized insurance claims, thousands. Not even, some say it's like 80 to 150,000 to give birth. Think about it, people. Without subsidized insurance companies, the insurance companies go bust. Maybe people like me, which is stupid, I'll agree. If Chris wants to call me stupid on this one, he can. He's more than welcome. He's got the wrench. And I respect his requests and his opinions and his First Rights Amendment. So, to me, my opinion is they're trying to do a great reset. They want to reset things because apparently too many people are buying too much crap, and we're supporting other companies because we're not making it ourselves. I mean, the other day, I bought toilet paper. I said, this is great. It's made in America. Nope, made in Mexico. So we're buying a company that sends their trees to Mexico, and then it's turned into pulp, which is turned into butt paper, which is turned around and shipped back to us dirt cheap. A lot of people look at made in America toilet paper. What do they say? 2, 3, 4 times the money. We don't want that. They'll go buy the cheapest. If they can find Chinese-made toilet paper, they will. No. I'm considered incompetent with money and have like 800 credit. Yeah, my neighbor said the same thing about me. You know, because I told her I don't believe in credit cards. Because you can default easy on it. With the Consumer Finance Protection Board gone, you have to just rob you blind and take half your income. So, credit, it's better just to be stockpiled at home than anything. But, point is, what did Chris say? It's a brutal system of abuse for all humans. When you can't prosper past $2,000 in investments, therefore, when things like government shuts down, people are, oh yeah, exactly, the SSI clause, Chris, exactly. I was just going to get to that. Say, my adopted brother, Ted, he's on SSI. He can't make it on SSI. Making it on 900 and what is it right now? 967. I think it went up a couple. It's not even $1,000. So how do you survive on less than $1,000 a month, and then your food stamps cut? And you think, I mean, literally. My brother Ted, stepbrother, he always only bought what he needed with his food stamps. His freezers and stuff's full. Well, all of a sudden, let's just say he had $900 food stamps. It may be frozen. I mean, I've heard rumors that they're just going to freeze all the cards tomorrow. Rumors, that is. I can't confirm or deny it. No, Moppy, this is Mama's food, and it's all done. Ugh. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, I want to talk about something very important here for the closing of this channel, okay, for tonight. And that is, no mop, I got to finish my coffee soon. Here, let's see if I can move this here. Yeah, there we go. So the bottom line is this, okay. I'm not going to get up to look at the comments that often. So the bottom line goes like this. There's 42 million people that's going to lose their food stamps tomorrow. There's 42 million people that's going to lose their lie heap, which we'll get to in a second. And 42 million people that are going to lose their Medicaid, maybe. And they have new requirements. And then there is 42 million people losing their government-issued phone service. See, if the phone service doesn't get restored on a certain date, the phone doesn't work and you got to pay for it. How many people are going to be basically buying phone service to survive? A lot of them won't even call the doctors, okay? Now, you could sit there and say, oh, well, tough luck. Now, there's people out there that if they were getting government phone service, food stamps, Medicaid, and they're like, oh, my uncle and aunt who are disabled, right? They're in their 60s, on SSI, married. They're worried about their food stamps. They're worried about their government phone. So be it. Fortunately, what's going to happen to the world? Not a whole damn thing. I mean, literally. How many people out there, Chris and I, we've been around the horn. I think Chris is late 30s, early 40s. So me and Chris had some experience with you young whippersnappers. we used to need a phone call. We'd go to the pay phone and be like, here's a quarter, call someone who cares. Instead, you whippersnappers would lose it if you didn't have phone service. I mean, have you noticed? I was at the bank today, right? One of this overweight guy, the sweetest guy in the world. He goes, "Oh, you're like every other yuppie. You're sitting here." Well, I was watching this people. It was like 15 minutes, right? I'm on my phone. I'm like, I'm not on my phone. My phone reading news. Oh, what are you doing? I was placing my Walmart order. The guy was sitting there. Oh, yeah, because I wanted to remember what I needed to order so I could throw it in my cart, and then when I get home, I can just hit checkout. Because I was waiting for a long time. And the guy's like, makes sense. And I was talking to the other guy. I found out he migrated here. He's a U.S. citizen. He naturalized years ago. And he's from South Africa. He's white. And I said, oh, I thought you were British. He's like, hell no, I am not British. F the British. So if you look at it, people, you got to ask yourself. There's a lot of people out there. I went to the hospital the other day. I had to have some tests done. Torture tests. Every one of these people were on their dang phones. Even Chloe had my phone going. I'm like, what are you doing? Well, they're electrocuting me with a little 2-pronged pork to test for my neuropathy. She's like, I'm raising that news. I mean, literally, we would be a better country if we didn't have everyone glued to their damn phones. I mean, look. Now your guys are going to talk about 32, almost 30, and then we all knew Jesus. Jesus did have a twin. That's correct. Unfortunately, if you read the Quran, Jesus' look-alike, his twin, was the one that Jesus swapped with, and Jesus went to heaven and wasn't nailed to a cross, if you believe the Quran. Now, we're not here to talk about religion, Chris. We're here to talk about government programs. You see, a lot of you people out there literally sit there, and they say, well, what's LIHEAP? The low-income heating program, LIHEAP. You know, anyways, I can look it up real quick so I can spell it properly, but basically it's the light bill. And a lot of people, when they're on food stamps, they get a couple $100 off their bill every year. And it's called the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIHEAP. Now, every year in November they give it, but right now with the food stamps, LIHEAP % cut. So think about it. Think about it. Not only is your food stamp cut 42 million people, but let's just say 42 million households. That could be about 100 to 120 million people nationwide loses the low-income heating assistant program. You know, or light, whatever, right? The electric subsidy. So not only that the companies turn around now and they say, oh, Chris, yeah, I'm making a theory here, okay? I know Chris, I know where he lives, but let's just say he goes and he says, oh, my food stamps have been cut, my government phone's been cut, and they cut me off of my LIHEAP. Well, every household that's on LIHEAP has multiple people in it, so let's just say 120 million people on LIHEAP with the household in general, they all lose their electric subsidy. Now here's the problem with the government 3 big programs, including Medicaid. Now, here it goes. 1, you turn around and you get food stamps, right? So you can have 2 people in an apartment and both of them can be on food stamps. One can only have the government phone, and the other, and one can, and if they both share the electric bill, they can only have one LIHEAP. Now, let's just say they live in the same building, and etc. And somehow they find a way of the back door, which it does happen from time to time. That's where the government needs to do an audit, and they say, oh, this person, Joe Bob and Jane Bob, both have LIHEAP, and they're in the same building. Think about it. Yeah, and so they always give the money to the electric company. Now, if food stamps is being cut tomorrow, stores are going to suffer. You're going to see people seeing less being brought in from the stores for supplies. And then you're going to see the phone companies hurting because without Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, whatever other companies you go through, Cricket, Boost, Consumer, all those cell companies, then they're going to lose their subsidies and lose their government contract phones because food stamps isn't being given this month. Now the government can turn around and say, look, food stamps can be restored if we come to the table and do a continuing resolution. The Dems don't want that. The Dem wants to say, well, we need we're having higher income and insurance. Well, I'm sorry to say this to all you people that are going to lose your food stamps tomorrow, but you got to ask the questions here. You see, people like Chris, people like me, people like Ted, people like Higgins, people like Pee Wee, we all have our own damn opinions, okay? My opinion is, I got Medicare, right? Medicare is my insurance coverage. I don't qualify for Medicare. Medicaid, sorry. You think I care? Now, my brother Ted would be like, oh, you're gonna care because people on SSI is gonna get shafted. Let me put it to you this way. Pee Wee and I a long time ago, probably 7, 8 years ago, way back when, 6, 8 years ago, I love Pee Wee dearly. And even Mama Fanny before she passed away, they both agreed with me that if the Social Security money ran out, we'd all be put on SSI in the general fund. And that means we'd be living off the same amount of money that I believe Chris just said SSI because of the $2,000 asset limit, and brother Ted. And the Higgins. Think about it. So, do you really think, honestly, that this wasn't planned? Now, I haven't went through and reanalyzed Project 2025. It's not my job. My job is to say, for the records, I hear people say the government shouldn't be subsidizing health, food, and so forth for illegals. Well, I'd like to see, on paper at least, where the illegals are getting benefits. Because when I lived in Hispanicville, the illegals were getting everything. Me and my husband had to wait 8 hours in a welfare office while a guy walked in with a leather coat and gold chains, and he walked out with a check. Where's my check? The lady that had 4 kids driving a beat-up minivan, when she dropped them off at school, she'd be jumping in and driving, you guessed it, her Corvette. So there is people that like to buck the system. We've seen it. And this is where people need to realize that this fraud, waste, and abuse can't go on. The government cannot support the fraud, waste, and abuse. I mean, I don't know if Chris thinks the same thing as me, but the fraud and waste and abuse has to discontinue wherever you go. This is why the government is literally losing money. There's people out there that would shut down housing subsidies because of this. I mean, people sit there and say, well, you've talked about prepping food and the food stamps and, don't worry about it. We'll get retro pay. How do we know the government's not going to be closed till next year? How do you know that if they win and they wear down the Democrats till election time? I mean, this could shut down the government. This could literally shut down the government, where without government money, the states can run the state elections, but the federal elections can't be ran because the states would have to get money, and where's the money coming? And it's a twofold thing. It's either you're protecting the Epstein thing, which is what I hear, or you're basically delaying the government opening so you don't have to have elections. Or if that's not it, it may be something else. But think about it from a point of view for people. The government doesn't open up people. It's not just people like myself and Chloe working and pulling our resources together. It'd be like Chris and his mom and his sister and his brother and his Joe Bob and Marky and Hobart and whoever else in his family pulling their resources to survive. It's going to be families we're going to be pulling together to survive, because you're not going to have your government phone. You're not going to have sorry Chris, I didn't mean it that way. on EBT. What does he say? I think people getting 4K is a sick joke on EBT. Yeah, I agree completely with that statement, Chris. Point is, food stamp people, there's people that are on food stamps that can't literally pay for a mortgage and yet they're on food stamps. There's people out there, okay? Let me tell you how government housing works, okay? You sign up for housing, you're on a wait list, you get in, they give you a Section 8 voucher. As long as you qualify, your voucher stays. But what if I turned around and told you HUD was cut 86% as soon as Donald Trump got in, apparently? And then all of a sudden, government shuts down. Without the government funding anything, let's just say the government rolls over to 2026. Eventually, the owners of the HUD buildings are going to have to basically make a decision. Do they support, as Chris would call it probably, freeloading moochers, or do they evict and bring in people that can afford their housing? But then what happens when they can't bring in anyone that can afford their housing because no one's working, because no one can afford food? There's another twofold here. They're trying to probably decrease the population. I've heard rumors, just rumors, I'm not going to go dig this up, that the government wants between 50 and 100 million people population. And if you don't meet the requirement, you're going to be basically rounded up. And I don't think, like I said, I don't know if this is true or false. I'm not going to dig for it. But for the record, I want you to think about it. Yeah. I want you guys to think about that, because it is what it is. I mean, look, for example, we're talking housing, right? So food stamps goes tomorrow, phone goes tomorrow, LIHEAP goes tomorrow, and HUD's already being cut. And without the federal government reopening, quote unquote, housing, will go down too. Subsidized housing will go down. So here's how it works out and breaks down. Food stamps goes out tomorrow. Federal government doesn't support or funds the grocery stores. The grocery stores start going out of business. The government says, oh, well, it's grocery stores. Well, we can just buy them up by the bucket and make them a state grocery store. That's communism. And I mean, I don't think we're going that route, but let's just say. Then you turn around, and what else happens? Turn around, and HUD gets cut, right? And without money, HUD doesn't function. And without HUD, the government shuts down, right? Then, I know Chris is probably sitting there, what's the point? And you guys are. Then where's the money come from when you have new problem, homeless in camps everywhere? Let's just say, I believe from what I remember, Chris and his families, they live in a house. So they'd be probably good through the apocalypse for about 7 to 10 years before Uncle Sam said, well, you guys are barely scraping by. Let's just say hypothetically, I'm not going to go into his business. Then they take away his house. Maybe Brother Chris is in a house, in a tent or on the streets, for example. I mean, my adopted brother Ted, he's worried about the same issues. Without big money, he can't supply. He can't survive. He lives on peanuts. He drives a car. What happens if the car breaks down? What if the car breaks down? What if other issues happen? Think about it. People these days on disability, people say, oh, Rita, how can you afford that? How can you afford your freezer filled? Because I don't have tires, and I don't have oil, and I don't have gas, and I don't have insurance, and I don't have a maintenance bill on a car. I mean, literally. Chloe keeps saying, oh, we need a car. No, we don't. The more things you have, the more things that can break, the more times that you'll have to basically turn around and literally repair what you need to. Let me give you another tip about funding. A lot of things these days are disposable. You go in, you buy a razor blade, you use it. Maybe it's the handle's not disposable. Maybe you just unclick and you put a new razor, shave your legs, and then eventually the blades get clogged and you throw it out and you buy a new one. You keep the handle. Let's just say you keep the handle for 50 years until one day, oops, it's discontinued. You can't buy that particular razor. Then you have to go and find a new one, and you may have to sample 3 or 4, right? Disposable. Same goes with computers and technology. Has anyone ever looked around lately and said, oh, I need to get a replacement battery for this? Battery's built in. You got to recycle a whole dang phone. Why? Because that's how they make it. They make everything disposable. So, the best course of action is to save money. You don't need to turn around and buy excess stuff that you don't need. If it's not upgradable, don't buy it. Yeah. They pay 66%. I remember if that runs out. You mean Social Security, Chris? No. Actually, if it runs out of money, Social Security, for example, we all get paid, it's 77%, I believe, is what they can pay currently in today. But they said the longer they don't fix the problem, and when we do run out in 2034, remember they said we're supposed to run out of Social Security disability money in 2027. Think about it. That's what they're saying for disability people. SSI never runs out. SSI is on the general fund. Now, disability insurance, survivor's insurance, disability and survivors, that when they run out, I think survivors is like 2031. Disability is like 2027 to 2030, give or take. They say more people are getting on disability, which means draining it faster with their one-time checks. And then you have Social Security retirement, Chris, that runs out in like 2034 to 2042, give or take those zones. They're always throwing the number out, but they say it'd be dropping to like 77%, and then every year the government kicks the can, it drops like 3 or 4%. So by the time it gets like 2050, you're getting paid maybe 15% of Social Security because the government can't bring in enough, but they're not fixing it either. So right now, the best way they can fix it, and this is a lot of people are saying this, is just by shutting it down. And the way they're doing it is wrong, but as long as we have different things, then it's only theories. I mean, think about it. From my point of view, the government is sitting there saying, oh, you can't do this. I mean, look. I mean, literally. Let me put it this way. A lot of people are only cashing in on deals now. They're only buying on deals. And Amazon, Walmart, Target, Best Buy, every retailer out there is looking around people and going, oh, well, we can't afford it for this price, but we'll buy it for that price. Hold on a sec. And because of it, look what happens. All these people on their deals, they get the deals, and they buy, and they buy, and they buy. And then what happens? Think about it. People can't afford. And all of a sudden, these people sit there and they say, oh, praise the Lord, we got tariffs, really. Until one day you go out, hey, the Higgins, and then you try buying bananas, for example, and you find out you can't afford those bananas, and then you're screwed. I mean, think about it from the point of view. People these days have to realize, and I'm only throwing numbers out that I remember. Happy Halloween, the Higgins. We will all have to do the van life. Unfortunately, I think you may be right, Higgs. I mean, Higgins is one of the moderators that understands the $2,000 asset limit, But at the same time, he also understands about the price of bananas too, don't you, big brother Ted? Not Ted, Higgins. Ted's my other brother. Ted can be annoying now. See, I'm thinking of too many different things. Anyways, back to the prepping problem at hand. The Higgins, welcome here. Welcome. And for some of you, like the Higgins, since this is in memory of my bunny, Chris didn't even say anything about it. That my pure little bun died in my arms 1 month ago today. This is a remembrance. Same size. He's a Dutch dwarf. See? Dutch dwarfs are about this size in real life. So, I love my little bun. Anywho, bottom line is, 42 million people are not just going to lose their food stamps. The Higgins understands the complication. My brother Ted suggests I do this video after a month and a half. The bottom line is you not only lose your food stamps, but as I said, you also lose your government phone. How many people can live without a phone? I mean, literally. I mean, if you don't have the money, right? A lot of people say, well, if people didn't need to go and spend $200, $300, $600 on a phone, they buy a crappy phone that works for $30, then doesn't work well. Your best bet, if you're an old folks or old fart, to go buy a flip phone and be done with it. Flip phones you can buy for $30 and say $20 a month. It's $20 out of your SSI check. However, as Brother Ted would say, and the Higgins and Chris, if you're on SSI, that's an expense you may not want to spend. But right now, what happens if your food stamps get cut, your Medicaid gets cut, and your phone gets cut? Then all you got to do is get on your knees and pray that the government reopens. Or you start pushing the Democrats to open. But what if the Democrats finally crack under pressure and they go to the negotiating table, and then the Republicans will go, oh yeah, we're not doing it, thanks, we opened up, we did what we wanted, F you, no more food stamps, no more Medicaid, and no more government phone. Then what are you going to do when you're sitting there thinking, what are you going to do? Go into the polls on 2026 voting Democrats straight through because you just lost your food stamps, your Medicaid, and your phone service? Now think about the other program I said, the low-income heating program. No, LIHEAP, or I can Google that again because I can't even remember how it's spelled, and that's bad. The low-income heat insurance program. Let me look it up again. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIHEAP, is currently shut down due to the government shutdown. Think about it. Think about it, my friends. And then we got to the housing problem again. Again, you guys sit there and you say, well, how bad is it? HUD's been cut apparently by 86%. They're cutting out anything that they can. What happens when all the suburban HUD Section 8 places are gone because no one can afford it? Then what happens? Brother Chris says, oh yeah, you guys can go stay at my house. It's all great. Nope, Chris will basically be armed with 2 katanas, basically trying to fight them out to stay out of his house, not to eat his food. I mean, we may just have a civil war, or we may have crime rise. A lot of people say they're trying to get crime to rise so they can then do the Insurrection Act. But how many people would support the Insurrection Act? Right now, you got to ask yourself, is it well worth it to see insurrection happen when the government cuts off your food stamps, your phone service, your Medicaid? What if you don't have Medicaid? Well, like me, you don't have to worry. What about Brother the Higgins or Brother Ted? They may have to worry. They'd message me, oh my, like the Higgins, he'd message me, oh my God, my eggs are up in price and my bananas are too high. That's when you cut out what you don't eat. I mean, look, let me tell you a story. People say, oh, you should worry. Really? Let me tell you what should happen, okay? When HUD gets cut, right, and the government doesn't get reinstated, the reserve cash funds that the HUD people have for housing goes away. What happens if they can get away with 6 months of letting people freeload while paying their basic expense while the government shut down? And then they say, oh, we'll get back pay. And then the government reopens, but they pass a bill, let's just say, that says negative back pay for anyone. Not housing, not food stamps, not Medicaid, not anything. Then what? What are you going to do then when you sit there and you say, I mean, now you're thinking, well, what about the USDA and the food stamp program? The USDA, when you're on food stamps or Indian affairs, they offer you a government-issued phone. But what if the government-issued phone service is shut down? Then what? I mean, literally, people literally are going to hurt. Now, there goes one other problem. The USDA, they have their own housing program for rural communities. And right now, without cash funds, those communities could lose. Now, I know that, let's just put it this way, okay? There's people out there where I live. As you all know, I live on an island. I invited Chris out here, and the Higgins, and my brother Ted, and, well, Zoe, and others. And bottom line is, the prepping problem, okay? People sit there and they're worried, right? I have an old lady comes to me, she's like, what happens if we lose? I have this other lady that lost her noodle the other day. Oh, we're not going to lose our housing. If there's no reserve cash for this building, and we keep paying and paying and paying, eventually the owner is going to delinquent through the government. But the government can't do anything about it, so what happens? The owner may turn around and fire the repair people. Then when the repair person can't do it, we don't have a repair person right now apparently, then what happens if things get worse? Units will start to be emptied. They can't fill the units because the government shut down. They can't run through and say, oh, this person may qualify for the USDA program or the state of Washington program. State of Washington, they're already running a skeleton crew for their Washington State Finance Housing Commission thing. So they want everything to be dumped on the states. Well, if the states were going to be dumped to these problems, you know as well as I do, Chris does, and the Higgins does, and everyone does, that would mean they'd be turning around and raising higher pricing and taxes for the wealthy. And the wealthy will just leave the state. And in the next 1 to 3 months, if the government doesn't reopen, this is just hypothetical, you're going to see grocery stores, suffer. They say you're going to see grocery stores suffer, Targets suffer, Fry's suffer, Giant Eagles suffer, Amazon suffer, Walmart suffer, your local stores. I have 2 local stores here. They're all going to suffer because they're not going to be able to subsidize their groceries because food stamps are shut. Then they may shut their doors. Then what happens when Chris or the Higgins or Ted goes to the store one day and says, sorry, we are closed. You're going to see the windows broken and all the aisles empty. And maybe the army standing around too. But the point is do you see where I'm going with this? We're not out in the woods yet. We still have 3 years and 2 months. So every month gets us closer to 3 years. And then it goes backwards. And then backwards till 2029. But I'm not worried about 2029, people. I'm worried about now. And that is, what are we going to do to protect ourselves? I mean, literally, God, He's looking down right now and He's saying, hey, look, I built the country of America for you. It only took you guys 250 years to ruin it. To basically sit there and put, in God we trust, for all others pay cash. That's the slogan from A Christmas Carol with Gene Shepherd, who was the narrator for Christmas Carol. But the joke is, we put it on our dollar bills of in God we trust. Really. If we trusted God, we wouldn't have 42 million people going hungry, because apparently, somewhere down the list, God was basically been told, we got to keep God out of our courtrooms unless you put your hand on the Bible. What if a Muslim comes in and tries to testify and says, I can't put my hand on the Bible, I don't believe in your religion? Then the whole case goes down the toilet. You see, we got too many atheists, too many people believing that God Almighty doesn't exist. Guy upstairs doesn't believe. He thinks it's a control thing. God's not real. He's entitled to his own opinion. But the thing is, you got all these people, and they sit there, and every year, new technology comes. In the 40s, in the 50s, God would be worshipped. He would be talked to. He would, and then as technology progressed, pinballs took in, and then arcades and bowling, and then more bowling, and then other things, and eventually God was pushed out. And God's sitting up there, and he's saying, hey, I've given you all this technology, and you guys would worship your phone, then worship me. That's why I usually, when my brother Ted and the Higgins messages me, he turns around, and I'm not on my desktop anymore. My electric bill was so cheap this month. Caesar's Old Pizza, thank you, lol. I'll eat out Caesar's Old Pizza, huh? Whatever you want, man. I mean, that's your business, not me. I mean, if you want to eat out, that's fine. You want to support companies, that's fine. But eventually, it's all going to come crumbling down. And we have to prep, Chris. I mean, look what's happening. Food stamps come out tomorrow. I mean, literally, unless you're built on a gold mine and you can just throw money away, people have to cut corners. I mean, look. I went through my finance books, people. Again, I'm not addressing just Chris. I'm addressing all of you. I literally did a what they call reflection time today. Of all the expenses we've spent, we can make better improvements. We can't. I mean, with the freezer full and my electricity bill being $36 because I've been out 3 or 4 times this month to doctors and the window here where the fan is, the sun hits it and it's natural heat, so it heats this place up and I don't have to pay electric bill. So all that warm heat, even Zoe when she was here knew about the free heat, but you get the point, right? Point is, what happens if you go to the stores and within 3 to 6 months, the stores are bankrupt because they can't get food stamps? Think about it. We're a socialist country. People don't realize that. We socialize medicine. We subsidize the insurance companies so they can pay for your health care. We subsidize the grocery store so you can eat. Every program we subsidize. Housing? Without subsidized housing, you'd be living in a tent. Personally, I'd prefer a little shanty on the waterfront, like Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remaster, but hey, yeah. And by the way, those Elder Scrolls 4 Remaster houses, most of them are more simple than you can even think about. Unfortunately, most people don't think about it. They're just like, I mean, most of the houses are more simpler back in the day than today. And today you have multiple rooms, a toilet, a shower. I mean, if you play the Elder Scrolls games, at least you know when you play Skyrim why there's a bucket inside a hole, whereas in houses they don't talk about the bucket. So think about it. But you guys get the idea. Are you prepping? I mean, right now, without food stamps, the country can get, without food stamps, without government phone service, without Medicaid, and whatever else, LIHEAP, the low income heating insurance program, LIHEAP, I'll just call it that, insurance program, because I cannot remember for the life of me. Every time I say low income heating, the Low Income Home Energy Assistant Program. It should be Heating Energy Assistant Program. Home. That sounds like they changed the name for LIHEAP, doesn't it? To Low Income Home Assistant Program, LIHEAP. Yeah, is that how it is? Let me see. Low Income Energy Assistant Program. Low Income Energy Assistant Program. Yeah, I'll get it eventually. LIHEAP. I mean, what happens when the sits there and one day, the Higgins, Ted, people on the government system has to pay more money for their electricity. They're going to cut corners. They're going to sit there and turn off everything they don't need. And they may use their computer once a day to check their orders, or their phone, and then plug their phone in. What happens if you turn around and you're literally cutting out as much expenses as possible because people can't afford it? That's something you should think about. A 1,200 milligram sativa edible from Smokers Town is hitting strong now. 1,200 milligram sativa edible. Well, to each their own, man. I mean, literally. That's another thing. The government's eventually going to crack down on pot people, too. Pot users, or pot, or THC and stuff. Yeah, I mean, literally. I mean, there's a lot going on now. I mean, literally. But the point is that a lot of people don't see what's happening in the world. They just basically are focused on other issues, like what happens if the government, people are saying, what happens when they're, they're upset or unhappy or whatnot. I'd be unhappy too, man, but the thing is, I mean, really, what do you make of it? How do you make of it? What are you thinking about? Think about it. I don't know. All I know is everything is subsidized nowadays. And if you take away the subsidized, what do you have left? Grandma and grandpa dies. The disabled die. It'll be, I mean, they're rounding up the non-English born. Heck, I've heard rumors they want to round up all the LGBTQIA and deport them. So I'm like, well, I wouldn't be. Iceland. I wouldn't mind being deported to Iceland. I mean, Iceland, Australia, New Zealand. But they're like, 4 million people deported. We'll deport them to some African country where they're slaves. Right, so, that's what I've heard, But anywho, it's, the thing is you got to prep. Are you prepped? People aren't prepped. I mean, literally. I mean, have you noticed? I have my screensaver going in the background on my TV. And if it comes up, I'll show you. But I gotta tell you that, has anyone ever seen the screensaver Roku, where it's sitting there and the cars are driving and there's a giant billboard and it's talking about Howdy? For $2.99 a month, you can get Howdy until they take away Howdy and they raise it to $4.99 because they can't make money. And then they're like, oh, well, we're having trouble. We'll just raise it to $8.99. Eventually, people are going to cut corners. I mean, look at a lot of people. I mean, Disney's still complaining about how people are cutting their cords because of that, what was it, Jimmy Fallon or whatever? You get rid of the comedian and stuff, we're all going to ban you. And then all of a sudden, they bend the knee and everything else happens, and all of a sudden, I mean, look, let's put it this way, okay? My coffee's over there, so I need to get some more. So, let's just say, for example, the government turns around and they're like, well, this is woke, right? I don't care. My channel, if they want to call it woke, it's fine. I'm talking about prepping because that's what I do. But the truth of the matter is, it's like my family. Let me tell you, one of my family members I love dearly. I love him dearly, okay? You know what happened to my family member, people? They don't want to talk to me right now because I made a wisecrack 4-6 weeks ago, whatever, before my bunny died. That when I do YouTube videos, most people don't listen to me. People sit there and they want to listen to a guy that's got 500,000 subscribers. Oh yeah, it's the end of the world. We better take up guns and blah, 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 blah. And then nothing happens. I come along, just an average American who does this for fun. And I say, hey guys, we better start prepping. Food stamps are going to be short. We better start prepping. What happens? People say, oh no, you're full of crap. You're a fake prepper. You're not like this guy who's got 1 million subscribers. You're good, right? But you're not that good. And then when food stamps just come down the pipe, people message me and say, what's going to happen with this? We follow these 1 million subscriber guys, and yet they're rubber stamping, giving gifts and stuff to other people, but not, others. And so what happens? Empty. So what happens is people are messaging me again out of fear. They're like, look, Zoe used to say that you're the best prepper around, in her opinion. We believe it. Think about it. If crap hit the fan tomorrow and the economy took a dump and Sister Zoe showed up on my doorstep, I would take her in because she knows she wouldn't go hungry. Heck, I'd take Brother Ted in, the Higgins in, Chris in. I mean, my cousin in Texas. So the thing is, you guys are wondering what happened in Texas. Okay, so I said a joke to my family. You know, they said something about the beautiful Charlie Kirk and his wife, how she lost her husband and their kids lost a father. You know, there's some. You know, it's so sad that, you know, the left is killing this guy, right? The left, right? Turns out, you know, has anyone ever heard what happened to the guy as soon as they tried to say the guy was dating a trans person or whatever? It all went underground. I mean, do you remember that? They're like, oh, blame the tranny, right? We're going to blame all the trannies, right? Well, you know what I've heard recently? I tell you something. Chris is probably sitting there stoned out of his gourd going, they want to blame me. They want to blame me, or my people, which I don't have people, by the way. They want to blame me for food stamps going in. Government phone shutdown. Really? Let me tell you. How many times have you gone to a welfare office and seen 50 Hispanic women with like 900 kids going, the government's my daddy. My government's my daddy. Or the African American women that have, the one lady once had like 29 kids. She just kept popping them out. And someone asked her, is the government your daddy? And she said, the government's my daddy. Because some of them don't want to work, okay? Now, you could sit there and say, well, am I being a bigot? No. The reason I'm saying this is that, you know, if we put a restriction on the food stamps and the phone, and we would be better suited. We would have a decent audit, but we don't. You know why? Because preppers, people sit there and, you know, I mean, food bank, like I said, they give me 4 pounds, 8 pounds of dry beans every week. I put them away. I get them all prepped, ready to go. Beans can last a long time. You keep them cold, dark place. Dick Priticky from Alaska, he ate 15-year-old plus beans. It was just fun and dandy for him. Hold on a second. The bottom line is I'm still getting over a cold too, so I should buy some more day medicine. That may just clear me up. But they say the more you take that day stuff, the more your nose might have to unclog itself. So think about it. I mean, anyways, bottom line is, a lot of people out there, they've been messaging me. They're scared. They're like, they didn't think the government would do it this long. I did, because here's the problem, okay? There's people out there like my cousin Dinky, okay, and my cousin Corey. I love them dearly. You know, I made a wisecrack to Dinky about, you know, everyone sitting there and they think they need to listen to Charlie Kirk. Yeah, I agree. If you want to focus on him, go for it. It's no skin off my nose. Unfortunately, what I was trying to make comment was, people will listen to him and people are worried about him. Now they got to go understand what his principles were, and then they want to blame the left. I'm not part of the left, man. I keep my nose clean and I leave everything alone. You know what the problem is? I'll tell you what the problem is. Problem in this day and age is there's too many leftist crackpots. Not talking Chris, not talking myself, not talking the Higgins, not talking Ted, cousin Dinky, etc., etc. I'm talking about people that are fully living in subsidized housing, taking advantage of the system. And they get away with it. And because of it, these people, they're freeloaders. They are literally freeloaders. Excuse me for 2 seconds or 3. I just gotta go use the restroom, take one, grab some coffee. But you get the idea. They're freeloaders. They live in government housing. They get government checks. They get food stamps, Medicaid. And let me tell you something. This is where I'm drawing. My coffee cup falls. Huh. I don't know where it went. Over there, maybe? Over here, over there. I need to hit the trail where my coffee cup went down the toilet. I don't see it. I smell the stuff bunny, but you see? Oh, it's on the floor here. Okay. One last thing. Yeah. See, you got some Holloween cookies tonight. Alright, so I just got to pour my milk in my coffee, but let me finish. So, all of a sudden, food bank, right, they find out people are taking advantage. And those people taking advantage is people who are on drugs and alcohol, right? And those people are living in government subsidized housing. And then there's people that help donate electricity subsidies, food subsidies, etc., gift vouchers. And they find out that people are taking advantage because they are, what do you call it? They're on, they are, taking advantage of it, you know, and they're on drugs, crack, coke, meth, pot, you name it, they're on it. And then you hear people say, well, this person's a pothead or meth or crack, he shouldn't have guns or he shouldn't do this. The point is, it's not your business. But we're not supposed to judge people, we're supposed to love them. But a lot of people out there sit there and say that person shouldn't be living on my tax dollar because they're wasting it away on drugs and alcohol. Now, mind you, I've binge drink a lot, okay? I'm going to say I'm not a saint. But I had to make many deals recently with the good Lord. Now, so what happened? Let me tell you. The government nowadays, oh, great. Look, no one cares, okay? I don't care about all this. This company's not like, Brink, you're unprotected, you need to buy a virus scan program. No. Windows Defender does pretty damn good, and you can supplement it with the other free stuff. Good. I mean, people don't know this. People just sit there and say, oh, well, you know. Now, my point is when it comes to prepping, when it comes to stuff, these people sit there and they think, the government's going to be reopened. It's just a 3-day fight. 30 days later, the government's going to open. They're going to give us back pay. Doesn't happen. The government, and then all of a sudden they get a notice. You're being evicted because the government doesn't have the government can't keep your house open because there's no reserve cash to pay for it. Now, think about it. No reserve cash to pay for it. What's that tell you? It tells you right there that the government subsidy program has a lot of problems. By the way, I don't see it anymore, so they must have updated again the screensaver, because back in that Raku City, they used to show the Arby's thing. That's what I was looking for. A lot of people would sit there and say, oh, the old Arby's design. I'd like an Arby's. Fortunately, a lot of people like Arby's, but unfortunately, a lot of people can't afford Arby's because, well, it's Arby's. So, anyways, where were we? So, now, a lot of people are sitting there and they're struggling. They really are. I mean, look at my family. They asked me the other day, am I going to restore Paramount? Maybe. But you got to ask yourself, how many streaming services do you need? I mean, literally, I use Roku and Tubi for most of my entertainment. I haven't had to pay, but Paramount, yeah, I could do Paramount. I also found that if you get a working DVD properly, you can basically buy movies and then replay your favorite movies over and over and then replace them. As long as the lens works on your DVD player, you don't even have to buy or get streaming service. Unfortunately, again, that's how you present the economy. A lot of people look at these free services and say, well, I can afford that. So, I mean, literally, a lot of people sit there and they have to cut corners. I mean, literally, a lot of people are sitting there and they have to cut corners. Or a lot of people are sitting there and they, once they used to inhale food like crazy. Let's just say they could eat 4 dinners. Now they can only eat 1. Or they used to eat four Hungry Man TV dinners in one sitting. Now they can only eat 1 or half of 1. I mean, literally, the world changes and people change too. And you got to ask yourself, are you prepping properly? I mean, literally, are you prepping properly or are you not prepping properly? I, on the other hand, think, well, we're going to be having a lot of hard times coming up and we have to be prepped for it. And a lot of people sit there and, they're like, oh, the government will reinstate me and give me back pay. Really? But what are you going to do till then? You're going to sit there with your Social Security check and decide your booze is more important than your food or your drugs are more important than your food? I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I'm not talking or attacking anyone. It's like Brother Chris. The whole sativa. What is it? Sativa cracker. Yeah, he had a sativa cracker. Never heard. Oh no, it's a sativa edible. I thought it was cracker. See, but he's probably laughing anyway. Sativa cracker. But you get the point. And the point is, yeah. I mean, are you prepped? A lot of you people said, oh, the government, we could buy. A lot of people I heard around and seen and stuff over the years said, they can buy their drugs and survive. But what happens if they have drug withdrawals, huh? What do they do? Kill a couple people so they can get drugs, and if they don't have drugs, they're going to sit there and steal other people's food? I mean, literally, I had a person a while ago ask me, you don't have vices, so how can you afford your freezer to be filled? That's the point. No vices. I mean, think about it, people. When it comes to the government needs to know that food stamps, I mean, a lot of people don't understand that what's coming down the pipe is government's being gutted and slowly. And people sit there and they hold on to hope. Oh, well, it won't happen to me. And then 42 million lose their food stamps. And then all of a sudden their SNAP benefits, EBT, cut. What happens then? Huh? Are you prepped for that? Or are you going to sit there and be like, oh, that's okay? A lot of them. I mean, did you hear the report I saw yesterday? It made me laugh. I was on the toilet last night and I saw a report. 1/3 of FAA flight controllers are like, well, if you don't come to work unpaid, we're gonna not keep you. And they're like, well, fire me then. I got a mortgage, I got bills to pay. I'd rather be a clerk in a grocery store than basically control the control towers for planes coming in and out. I'm not getting paid. I'm not working. 1/3 of them are doing it. The other 2/3, they think they're going to get back pay. Yet, with the government cutting off food stamps, what if those 2/3 turn around and say, the U.S. military can learn how to control the towers. They can kiss our butt, and all of a sudden the planes aren't moving. Then what happens, huh? Then the airlines are grounded. Then the airlines go bankrupt. It's like everything we see right now, it could bankrupt the country. Let me get my milk in my coffee. What the heck? Oh, yeah. Alright, so let's continue. So basically, my brother Ted, also the Higgins, they both tell me this all the time. That without food stamps, right, there's always a reaction, or a deaction, or for example, someone would sit there and say, I want to smack you upside your head. I'd say, well, that's fine and dandy, you can do that. Because for every action, there's a reaction. For every action, there is a, I can't remember the word I used to use, but anyways, I used to use it a lot. Is basically there's a counteraction, right? So, for example, still getting over sickness. For example, for every action, there's a reaction, right? So, for every decision, there's an outcome. It might not be the outcome you want. For example, government loses 42 million food stamps. People say, oh, no, you can't eat. Well, you know what? I've seen a lot of YouTubers turn around and say, well, it's not our job to pay for you to live. Chloe said that the other day. She's a Muslim woman, transgendered Muslim woman, who said, look, I only get $24 a month. I live on my Social Security disability, and I'm homeless. So as long as the homeless shelter gives me food, I won't complain. They give me a roof over my head, I won't complain. If they're serving cheese, she's lactose intolerant, I'll go get a hot dog. There you go. See? Do you see her complaining? No. The only one complaining about it is, for every time you do something, there's always going to be a reaction. So, for example, government shuts off 42 million people's food stamps. They complain, right? That just basically starts a catalytic approach to food stamps shut, lie heap shut, government phones shut. You should be lucky your food stamps ain't connected to housing, or your housing would be cut faster. You see, the point is when you look at it, for every reaction, there's a action. For every action, there's a reaction. So, the point is whatever you do, there's always a reaction. And so people sit there and they say, well, Rita, I disagree. All right, you disagree. That's fine. You disagree. I disagree. We all disagree. Right? Right. So what happens? For everything out there, I mean, literally. Now, the government also wants to start real ID so they can sit there and see you give your real ID, and it registers into a database that goes into the national Palantir database. That's what they want to call it. Apparently, rumor has it. Okay, it's a rumor. That will tell you if you're buying alcohol and drugs, and they can sit there and say, this person bought too much pot, we're taking away their guns. Or this person's got too much alcohol, we're taking away their benefits. It could be the way that they're building this. So basically, if you're looking at it, for every reaction, has anyone sat there and they said, oh, well, the food stamps are shut, it's only temporary, we'll get by, we'll go to we'll go to the food bank. What if the food bank is 70% cut and they start cutting corners and they say, oh, instead of giving you a gallon of milk because you're a family, you get one little square of milk. Are you going to sit there and complain, oh, I got one square for a family? That's where you turn around and you buy the powdered milk. I keep telling people, powdered milk is a way to prep. But fortunately for you guys, you turn around and you don't balance things. I mean, literally, someone sits there and says, well, Well, I think I'll just buy the 4-pack of light bulbs, right? 4-pack is good if you only need 4 light bulbs. Always buy the bigger in the bulk because you can always do it. You have 4 lights there, 1 light there, 4 lights there. That's 8 light bulbs. Let's just say you have to change 8 light bulbs a year. That's 3 years of light bulbs, right? 24. But, constant. But more light bulbs means, like they say, more energy efficient, which means more power saved. But a lot of people sit there and they don't think about that. They just sit there and take 4-pack at a time, and then when they don't have money, they basically sit there and so the best course of action, buy the bulk. Then you can sit there and say, well, I have 10 years of light bulbs, I'm good. Whereas other people aren't thinking for the long term. Some people say, well, it's 10-pack of light bulbs, or 10 years of light bulbs, or food. Take the food. Unfortunately, when someone has to sit there and say the freezer is full, and there's not much that they can spend money on, then you go and you buy 36 light bulbs times 2, you got 72 light bulbs, you're good. And then you sit there and say, well, I have the dish soap, the shampoo, the conditioner, the bar wash, the body wash, the bar soap, the dish soap, the laundry soap, the toilet paper, the paper towels, the garbage bags, and you're sitting there and you sit there and you run through your supplies, and you're like, oh, yeah, I need to buy 3 bags of coffee this week. Then 3 weeks later, you're like, oh, I need to buy 2 bags of coffee. Then you look at the next month and it's December. You're going, think about it, people. This is how you prep. But unfortunately, a lot of you people, you sit there and you think and you act and you act and you act, and then you say, oh, nothing's going to happen. The government's not going to shut down. It's all a bluff. Government shuts down. What happens? They're fighting for a useless cause. That's the thing. When someone sits there and says like Brother the Higgins or Ted or Chris, and they say, oh, well, I got plenty of food, I don't care. But what if they go to the clinic and the clinic says, I'm sorry, sir, we can't take you because you don't have health care insurance. And they're like, oh, well, there you go, right? So the Republicans are sitting there going, hey, there could be a way we could fix this, but we're not fixing it because there's other problems. Whereas the Democrats sit there and go, well, you're taking away health care for millions and we need to fix it. Really? I see it as a lose-lose. Literally. I see it as a lose-lose. I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of people out there that want to take away the health care. Why? Because there's reasons for it. A, take away the health care, you don't cover men becoming women or women becoming men. That's their eyes, okay? Discrimination, that's fine. Right? Whatever, right? Me, I don't believe in discrimination. But you get the idea. That's there. I'm not bringing it up again. Then you have the rest, right? You have the other people. You have the women. They're like, oh, well, it's so unfair. I have to sit there. I'm so unhappy, and I lost all this weight. My boobs go, and then I have to go and do this and fight the insurance company. Now look, I got perky little boobs again because I have implants. From weight loss. That's fine, but then you have the third set of women that say, oh, well, my self-esteem is so low. Yeah, I can't get a guy, my boobs are... Maybe it's your personality. But anyways, they go and they try fighting it, and the government says, no, we're not giving it. So there's people are pissed. There's rules for some, rules not for others. The rules are there for ones, but they're not there for everyone else. And so the government gets angry about everything in the damn world. Think about it. Government gets pissed off in the world. And they say, oh, we're covering Joe Blow's wiener inversion surgery, but we can't get rid of Jack Blow, who's got testicular cancer. We're telling Jack Blow go die, but we're telling Joe Blow, okay, we have to make you into a woman. Think about it. So when it comes to prepping, this is why the government is basically on a standstill. They're literally sitting there saying, well, we don't care about your health care. We can build something bigger, but you Republicans... you Democrats, you're not giving us a chance. So what does Democrats say? Well, if you don't restore the health care, then we're not opening the government. Then Donald Trump says, oh, use the nuclear option. And they're like, I mean, literally. I mean, it's all a sideshow of a sideshow. You're basically stopping the transgendered healthcare and healthcare for transgender people by not covering it, fine and dandy. But then, if you just said, okay, 42 million people lost their health insurance and 42 million losing food stamps, I mean, literally. And by the way, a lot of people on their food stamps, the ones that get the real little peanuts, they use those peanut food stamps for a buffer, or they use it for stockpiling. I mean, literally, people have asked me, hey, have you seen that new supply of ramen that just came out? It's like $3.50 a case. I have. Why don't you buy some? How much ramen do you want me to have? Because if I run out of space, then what am I going to do? Eat myself ramen down? It wouldn't be too bad for that price, but there's other people that may need that ramen too. So, but as a prepper, that's stuff that you have to take into account for. But then you got other people saying, "Whoa, I mean, remember what I said? People buy what they can afford. So if they start pulling back and not buying much and only buying essentials, I mean, there's a lot of elderly I heard that used to enjoy going out for their midday lunch, just at a little small place they know, and then all of a sudden they had to cut out their lunch and buy ramen. And they're like, yeah, I started living on ramen because that's what I can afford. I mean, brother, the Higgins and Ted, they may end up basically eating ramen too. I don't know, but Chris, he probably just eat, I mean, let me put it this way. Since my freezer is full, I was going through the ads this week, right, for a food. And Chloe and I were talking, and she's like, I'm coming out soon, probably tomorrow. Maybe Sunday. Actually, I think it's tomorrow or Monday. Anyway, she said she's going to spend a couple days and make dinner, right? She said, what do you want? I go, oh, well, if you're going to be here by Tuesday, before Tuesday, there's sales of pork chops. Well, you don't bring up pork chops to a Muslim woman. She's like, oh, what else? There's chicken. Let's put some Alfredo sauce on it. Well, a lactose intolerant trans woman can't have Alfredo sauce. Well, why don't we do meatloaf? So he says, okay. Do you have au jus? I said, I have au jus. I also have Alfredo sauce. You see, when it comes to me, I'd love to experiment with a jar of Alfredo sauce on a meatloaf. They got this like Painted Hills meatloaf from Oregon, and I was like, you know what? It's already pre-made, so all you do is put it in the oven, right? And I'm thinking, I'll take a meatloaf, and the thing is my freezer's full, so I don't go shopping that often, right? But Chloe's like, well, we could do something, right? I also told her I wouldn't mind some ice cream. However, the freezer's full, so you get the idea. No ice cream. But the point is the funny joke of it all is, Chloe, I love dearly, agreed. We can try Alfredo sauce on a meatloaf. But point is, this is the stuff that you're prepping for. Literally, you're sitting there. I rotate my food out today. I rotated out my monthly food. I changed out the freezers, so I had more access to the frozen box meals that I haven't got to, so I can eat them down first, and then switch over to my other meats, which are already wrapped up in meat paper, and then I make room for the next meat I'm doing, or the meats that I gotta store for Thanksgiving, and restock in December if I need to restock, and then restock in January, because people say, oh, well, do you think the government's gonna be open in January? Well, it depends. You see, the Republicans sit there and they don't give in, and the Dems don't give in, you're at a stalemate. So, that means, A, they stop the Epstein files from being released, and the two is to make sure that every food bank doesn't get a turkey for your extended family members. So your extended family members might not be getting a turkey this year, which a lot of government people think, well, it's fine because if my money, my tax dollars going to a food bank, my food bank shouldn't be going into a turkey. No, it's true, right? A lot of people out there think, yet a lot of things are a waste of money. And so that's why I implore you to spend $20 if you can to buy yourself a Clever Fox budget planner. I have multiple on my desk. And you basically do your planner, and you plan and apply for your months, right? And that'll tell you exactly with reflection where you're going. Like, for example, I told brother the Higgins and Ted, they're two different people, that that why waste money going out to eat, right? So there's this app. It's called Goods United, and Chloe demands I use it because it tells me, what a political affiliation someone is for eating. She won't buy anything that's in a Republican store, right? She refuses. Well, as you all know, I have this thing for Buffalo Wild Wings. Fortunately, Republican, like 97%. Chloe is like, So I've been stuck going to. So here's what happened, all right? So I went in on the 2nd of October. And by the way, I've given up alcohol. So I've been clean for 3 weeks. And I'm moving past the alcohol. I'm focusing on God, the Bible, the Quran, the Mahabharata, the Gita. So the story goes like this. At the time, I was in Red Robin in Bellingham, and I had a beer, 2 beers, and I didn't like it. It was like, they didn't have any of the food I wanted, so I was like, hell with it. So I go to B-Dub-Dub, Buffalo Wild Wings, got my wings, and then from there on, drank and stuff, and got to other places, sampled things, and then got home tipsy and stuff, that was October 2nd, of this month, so it was the end of this month, right? Anyways, so I stopped drinking on October 10th, so 20th, 30th, 31, so 21 days, 3 weeks. I'm proud of myself. Anywho, and I just got paid recently, and usually I go buy like 2 cases of beer. I didn't buy any beer, so think about it that way, okay? So what happened? I'll tell you. So I had to reflect. Waste of money, pissing it out. People sit there and they light a joint and they smoke it out. That money ain't coming back, people. So when it comes to prepping, you got to ask yourself, are you willing to prep for your survival and food and accommodations? Or are you going to prep to put funny feeling in your head by being an alcoholic and having that alcohol feel, or smoking it, or injecting it? Whatever it is, right? The thing is, you're not getting it back. So my point is when it comes to prepping, you have to ask yourself, are you prepping or are you wasting money? I mean, think about it. I went to Red Robin recently again. And when I usually go to eat, I usually want to have a chat with Chloe about prepping and stuff. She never lets me. She's like, are we going to die? We're going to die. We're tranny. We're going to die. Fortunately, that's what I hear, okay? But Chloe's becoming frugaler by the day. Literally, she's like the other day, she said to me, are you coming to Bellingham or Mount Vernon again for Doctorman? Not yet. She said, well, if we do, I'd rather have a hot dog at 7-Eleven or Costco. You know what? I'd rather pay the $1.50 hot dog price at Costco and call it a day, because, frankly, pricing is getting too high. Hot dog, Costco knows you're going to be spending a lot of money. Now, I went in there, and as I told Brother Ted and Brother the Higgins, I came out with more chimichangas than I went in with, because I didn't come in with any. I came out with too many. The bottom line is, my friends, I've been reusing my coffee. Instead of letting it get cold in the carafe, I've been filling up my thermoses that Chloe got me and using them. She's also getting me a food thermos, which holds soups, because I'll be making a lot of soup soon, because the economy is going to hurt. This is something that you got to think about as a prepper. As a prepper, you have to think about crock-pot meals. You can't stand around and be like, oh, the government's going to reopen and they'll give me my money. Really? Are you sure about that? My father-in-law talk about it all the time. Government could shut down food bank, food stamps, government phone, and Medicaid, and you'd all be flocking to get on SSDI, claiming that you have a drug addiction and you need treatment because the drugs disabled you and you're disabled. Think about it. Think about it. Are you prepped? Did you ever thought that tomorrow morning government's going to close and then you're screwed? No. Did you ever thought that you would wake up Halloween night, turn on the YouTuber and say, "Oh, it's Rita. Where's Rita been? Rita's been, I don't know what happened. Hold on a sec, peeps. I just want to see something." Now, I have a tablet too, but I usually use my tablet very short. Oh, come on, here we go. So what I'm doing is I'm going to YouTube for a second, and then I want to, I'll get to episode 7, which I want to watch, and the guy basically I watched was Michael Bordinaro, who was saying food stamps is done. It could be. I mean, think about it. Has anyone ever thought about that? No. You guys sit there and think it'll come back. Thing is, they could probably all gut it completely now, because some people say Project 2025 is done, and can I actually see if I'm on there? Oh, yeah, here we go. Project 2025 could be done. So anyways, I just want to see how many's watching. 2 hours ago, 1. So we got Trent. Oh! Trent says that. Trent says Happy Halloween. It was Trent. I thought it was Brother Higgins. Oh, because Higgins isn't watching, or my brother Ted. It's Trent. Hey Trent, what up, man? Good to see you. Now I can see the thingy there. Anyways, I was just checking this for a second. So, yeah, it just says 2 people are watching. I'm number 2. So, you get the idea, preppers. Are you prepped? Are you ready to go? Will you be prepped? Will you be ready to go? I should do a poll, but I'm not in the mood. I have something better to do anyways. So, anyways, so the point is, food stamps don't get restarted. Stores go out of business. They're being supplemented by the government. The government's supplementing stores because the government wants to supplement these stores because it was a big business practice back then. You know, corporations may have found a way to lobby to get food stamps passed. The corporations passed the government phone service. No one even thinks about the government phone service. They say, "Oh, government phone service, oh yeah." Without food stamps? I mean, how many rules and regulations do you guys think that the government turns around and opens up the phone service so you can afford your government phone? Not many. So if Uncle Sam turns around and says, "Well, either you guys go on a family plan, more than one household, or you don't get a phone." There's ways. Okay, so let me just tell you. Here's what I want to talk about tonight for your final prepping tonight. Food stamps isn't restored. You better have a backup plan. Because eventually the U.S. government's going to shut down food pantries, food banks. Then what are you going to do when you can't get your free ham or turkey? Are you prepped? Are you willing to survive without food stamps? Are you willing to survive without Medicaid? Are you willing to survive without your government phone? Yeah. Think about it. I may make a quick short video after this, but you guys get the idea, right? Are you prepped? Plain and simple. Are you? Are you prepped to lose your phone service? Are you prepped to lose your LIHEAP? LIHEAP is usually for people under X amount of dollars. Without it, you don't get government electric help. There's like 2 different programs, I think. LIHEAP and another program. And LIHEAP, I may have to call. I think I may do a checkup on that. But I'll do a checkup for you guys on Monday, and I will confirm that one for you next week, because a lot of you are going to basically be watching this saying, way to go, great movie, great video you made. We're glad you're still around. Sorry about the bun. Oh, my poor little Bun died. Hi, Bun. I miss him. That's why I got him. Neighbor thought, or my therapist thought I could use my little furry companion here. Oh, yeah. Oh, my bunnies live in Texas. Do. Anyways, the point is are you ready and prepped? Now, remember when I said the whole Charlie Kirk thing and I pissed off my family? I made the joke that people sit there and they're all worried about this guy being assassinated, which is sad. He was assassinated. But the thing is, I'm a small-time YouTuber and I talk truth. I talk politics. When I say things, it's mostly like theories. But tonight, you got to ask yourself, when you, I think I'm going to ask a question real quick to AI, because I can't remember that word for, there's another word for reaction. And I, for one, would like to know the other word for reaction, because it's going to bother me to no end. I think it's, there's, hold on. Another word for reaction. Alright. The repercussion, that's it. The repercussion of this entire discussion tonight is you take food stamps away. Then you take away your phone service. Then you take away your LIHEAP program. Then what do you got left? You got the grocery stores failing. They're going to see less people buying stuff. Less people buying stuff means another company goes down the toilet. And I think that's the word I'm going to use, repercussion, in my next video. So stay tuned. I'll make that one shorter. Thanks for watching, everyone. Continue this in a minute. I have to use the restroom. But please add and subscribe. Please post comments, leave feedback, suggestion. Hit the like and subscribe button. Keep comments nice, all we ask. I'll be back in a bit.